And so what you can do too is you can just keep learning melodies in position here. Melodies you already know, melodies that are more difficult melodies, but let's focus on this now. Let's focus on harmonizing these melodies, okay? To where, let's say you have Mary Had a Little Lamb, okay, and you want to find the harmonies of those. Okay, so in Mary Had a Little Lamb, here's the melody. The harmony is going to be really easy for this one, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to figure it out. Okay, if I'm in position here, 5th fret, if the melody falls on my 5th fret, I'm going to call it a C chord for right now. Granted, it could be a lot of different chords, but for right now, let's call it a C chord, and that'll be our first choice. Okay, so, and if it goes out of that, it's either going to be an F chord or a G chord. It'll either be my 4 chord or my 5 chord. That'll be my first choices when I'm figuring something out by ear. So once you get the melody down, just the melody, a good next step is to try to harmonize that melody. Now, you can do it a few different ways. You got 3 fingers, right? You could either grab 3 strings at a time, or you could grab 2 strings at a time to harmonize it, or you can strum with your thumb like that. So if we're harmonizing Mary Had a Little Lamb, I'm not going to worry about harmonizing every single note, right? But if the notes hangs out for a while on that note, then I will harmonize it. So let me show you how I'm going to harmonize Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, so as you could tell, when I went to that D note, I harmonized it with a G bass because I know that D is not in my F chord, right? The F chord is F, A, C, F, A, C. But D is in my G chord, G, B, D, G, B. So I can use that G chord to harmonize it. Now it's a D. I could have just strummed open if I wanted to. I go to the D chord, or D note, I could hit that D note, that D note, that D note, or that D note. Now do you see how information is huge with all this? You know, it's not a matter of being born with a, I mean, granted, you know, people are gifted musicians, I don't doubt that, you know, but the more you know, the easier all this is. I mean, the fact that I know that I can get a D chord here, or D note here, and harmonize a G chord there, I can get a D note here and harmonize my G chord there. I can get a D note here and harmonize my G chord there. Or I can get a D note way up here and harmonize my G chord there. What I'm doing is I know what this note is, and I know where it is all over the neck, and so you start giving yourself options as far as harmonizing that note. Now I went to this G note here on my first string, and I just kept with a C chord, but let's see if that would have worked over a G chord. Because that G is also going to be in a G chord, right? So to me, it doesn't work real well with that G chord. I don't know, maybe I hear it over the C. And that just comes with experience. You know, you're not going to be perfect at this right out of the gate. Okay, let's try a different one maybe. Let's try Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Just doing some harmony over it. Okay, so I slide up to this note, but it's hanging out on that note. I really want to harmonize that note. That's my 7th fret, 1st string. That's an A note. I'm not going to strum a D chord. First of all, it gets out of the key, D major. We're going to stick primarily to 1, 4, and 5 when you're first learning simple melodies by ear and wanting to harmonize them. So, twinkle, twinkle, add the harmony to that. Just put your notes of your chord underneath it. See how I do that? I'm just grabbing, keeping the melody note on top and putting notes right on strings underneath it. Now when it comes to this note, I'm going to find that in a different place. Okay, that's the note A. F, A, C, right? That note there, well, look at that. Falls right in my F chord. So now let's try to harmonize Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. C, C, G, G, F, F, C. Now what's the next note? It's the note F. Well, obviously, let's try an F chord over it. So in position, that note was here. But we want to try to find that note where we can get a chord, either our 1 chord, our 4 chord, or our 5 chord. Well, we got to switch chords because F isn't in our C chord. So let's find it here. We're in our F position. Put 2 fingers underneath it. We got a nice harmony for that. Okay, so the melody goes twinkle, twinkle, okay, C, C, A, G. It's that note, but we're going to find it up here, harmonize it with the F chord, 10th fret. It goes back to the E note, going back to our C chord there. And then this note, that's note D. Remember D, G chord works over great over D. We could do that one. We can do several of them. We could go way up here. If you want to keep it within the chord shapes, just like that. So let me play that again. C, 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 F, F, C, F, F, C, C, G, G, C. See how I did that? You find it in position here, and then you find those melody notes and how they fit just over your grips of your chords, and you start being able to harmonize that just like that. Okay, so there's one example of harmonizing a melody, and you can take that, any melody that you can think of, you can really start harmonizing it like that. Okay, let's try.